You can train like an absolute animal, sweat buckets, lift heavy, and still not build muscle. If that sounds crazy to you, then I'm going to explain to you why many people misunderstand how muscle growth works, and many kettlebell folks still believe that the kettlebell is not a good tool to build muscle. I've been training with kettlebells for a long time, and I've seen a major shift in my training when I switched to a particular philosophy that I want to explain in this video. It's called the two bells overhead philosophy, or in short, TBO. The originator, Lebe, my good friend, look at this guy. He's a walking tank. He's using the sport lifts to build solid muscle. But how is this possible? How can it be that he, as well as myself, that we're engaging into solid muscle building while you look at other kettlebell sport athletes looking skinny like marathon runners? The answer comes down to how you lift, how much time your muscles spend time under tension, how you rest, and what you eat. And in this video, we're going to take a deep dive. And if you're over 40 and you want to become strong, fit, and lean without going to the gym, download my free ebook in the first link in the description. Grüezi, Gregory von Lebe Stark here. Let's talk about the TBO, the two bells overhead method, and why overhead work builds more muscle. Point number one, we're fighting gravity. And because we do this, there's more muscle activation. If you lift a heavy kettlebell overhead, your body has to fight gravity at every moment. This means that your shoulders, your traps, your core, your stabilizers are under tension for longer than if you just do a deadlift. Now, this doesn't mean that a deadlift is not going to build muscle, but we're using different weights here with kettlebells. And this idea comes from Olympic weightlifting. Look at these guys. They lift overhead all the time, serious weights, and they look jacked. But they don't train like bodybuilders, but sometimes they even look better and have better physiques. How come? Because overhead loading forces more adaptation. Point number two, more muscle groups are activated per rep. Now, when you row or deadlift, you mostly activate your back, biceps, and also, of course, your legs. But when you jerk, press, or snatch overhead, you activate your legs and glutes for more drive, your core to stabilize the weight, and your whole upper body, which holds the weight overhead. So, in short, almost every muscle fiber is activated. Point number three, neuromuscular demand means more fast twitch growth. Studies show that overhead movements seem to recruit more fast twitch muscle fibers than pulling movements. Fast twitch muscle fibers have the greatest potential for hypertrophy. That's exactly what we're looking for, meaning they can grow stronger and bigger. So the secret sauce, you have to lift heavy, but with enough rest. Most people rush their sets, meaning they go too fast. They go for max reps or endurance, which is fine if that is your goal, but muscles do not grow in aerobic mode. If, in my case, my heart rate stays at 160 BPM at a constant level, then I'm training my cardiovascular system more than my muscles. But for hypertrophy, we need to let the CNS, the central nervous system, recover and rest enough so we can handle the next heavy sets with power and maximize time under tension. Because if our CNS is rested enough, I can put more tension into the muscle, which is better potential for muscle growth. So Pavel, with Hardstyle, my man, you most definitely have a point here. But if lifting heavy overhead, why is it that some elite kettlebell sport lifters look like marathon runners? Well, they make a couple of mistakes when it comes to building muscle. Of course, in their eyes, it's not a mistake because they're training for performance and efficiency. But if we are looking for muscle growth, we have to adjust the cogwheels a little bit. So here's mistake number one. They train for efficiency instead of hypertrophy. Elite GS lifters focus on 10-minute sets without dropping the bells. So they have to optimize for efficiency, not muscle growth. This means your body shifts towards training your endurance capacity, and this does not build extra muscle. The fix? Instead of doing endless high repetition sets, you want to train for strength and size with heavier weights, short, more intense burst sets, and let your central nervous system recover so you can lift with more power. And if you're wondering what type of kettlebell I'm using, it's the Pro Kettlebell, the best kettlebell on the market, period. We are working hard to making it available in the EU, Switzerland, as well as the UK as soon as possible. We have a waiting list in the description where you can get notified once we open up shop. Check the link in the description to get 10% off your next purchase and use the code LEBESTARK at checkout. Now, I'm not saying that you're supposed to waste effort by making the exercise in and all by itself heavier. We still want to train as efficiently as possible because weightlifters do this too. Otherwise, you're not able to move these weights accordingly. What I'm saying is that we have to make sure that we use some periodization or overloading principles. And this leads me to mistake number 2. There is no progressive overload. If you're always lifting the same weight, even if that is double 32s for a 90 reps long cycle, which is a massive achievement, your body still gets used to it, which sounds crazy because doing 90 reps long cycle with double 32s is crazy. But eventually your body then stops growing because you're not forcing new adaptation. So what's the fix right here? You have to use more weight or up the intensity. So if you have gotten used to double 32s, go grab double 40s, double 44s, and double 48s for these shorter, heavier burst sets. And here's the final mistake. You're not waiting for CNS recovery. That's a big one that I have to learn too. Too many people don't let their nervous system reset in between sets. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to wait 5 or 10 minutes in between sets unless you're moving 90% up to 100% 1 rep max weights. Don't go again at 100% immediately. You have to take a break. Now, the same happens when you do heavy overhead work. If your heart rate stays too high, your central nervous system is still fried and you'll move the weight slower or you'll start adapting your technique. The fix? Rest a little longer. Keep an eye on your heart rate. Make sure it drops down. If it's, for example, at 180, that it drops down to 150 or 140 before you go again. This allows your central nervous system to recover, which means in the end, your next set has more power and a higher force production. More force per rep means more muscle growth. And now as an added bonus, here's what you need to do so that your workout doesn't take 50 minutes to complete. Add some engine work where you train your endurance system so that your heart rate is able to recover faster in between sets. If you combine some solid engine work with the TBO method, you can increase and improve your workout density, which means you'll be able to do more work in a shorter or same amount of time. So in part 3, we're going to touch on nutrition a little bit because nutrition and muscle growth go hand in hand. Let's imagine 2 scenarios. Scenario number 1 is you are in a caloric deficit, which means no muscle growth because your body is in survival mode, not in growth mode. So even if you're lifting heavy and your calories are too low, your muscle building takes a backseat. So let's focus on scenario 2. Calories are fine, but protein is not high enough. We have another issue because without getting enough protein, your muscles cannot recover and grow, even if you train hard. And this is what it's called a negative nitrogen balance. Well, muscle breakdown exceeds muscle repair because you don't serve your body with enough proteins. So what's an optimal protein intake for muscle gains? Very simple, 1.6 grams to up to 2.2 grams per kilogram of body weight. For my American friends, that's approximately 1 gram per pound of body weight. So if you weigh 90 kilograms, which is around 188 pounds, you want to aim for 140 up to 200 grams of protein per day. And that's a big one. You've probably heard this often, and it is true. You cannot out-train a bad diet. If you're lifting like a beast, but you're not eating enough, especially protein, you're just spinning your wheels. So if you want to build real muscle, here's the winning formula. Number 1, use the 2 bells overhead method. Prioritize overhead work for maximum activation. Number 2, train for hypertrophy, not efficiency. Use shorter, heavier sets instead of endurance work. Number 3, let your central nervous system recover between heavy sets. If you're burned out, your force output drops, which means there's less muscle activation. Number 4, use progressive overload. Keep increasing weight or intensity over time. And number 5, eat enough protein. Aim for up to 2.2 grams per kilogram of body weight on a daily basis. Do this and you will build muscle like never before, especially if you use these powerful exercises from the TBO method. Here's the next thing that you have to do. Clean and press that like and subscribe button. Share with a friend who's also interested in kettlebells. And if you made it this far, download my free ebook in the first link in the description called the Kettlebell Code. If you're over 40, 50, or 60, you don't have a lot of time, but you still want to take care of your fitness, this is where the kettlebell comes in. And I'm going to show you a shortcut to success with my ebook. So what are you waiting for? Download it right now in the first link in the description or in the pinned comment.